Backlinks have always been one of the key pillars of SEO, and that's only got more important with the rise of AI. Now that Google is struggling to sort between quality results and mass-generated AI results, it seems to be giving more and more power to sites with a high domain rating, lots of backlinks. The more you can prove how established you are through backlinks, the better you rank, and this has never been more true. Here's a perfect example from one of my clients who already had a page of good optimized content. They were targeting a keyword. This was for a high-value financial niche search term, and they were getting some traction on this page, but never really making that much headway. Until we started building backlinks, this page only got 3 backlinks per month for a period of about 3 months. In total, we built about 11 or 12 backlinks to this page, and that immediately had the traffic take off. So we can see in the blue, the rise in referring domains up to 10 showing in Ahrefs, and at the exact same time, we see this massive increase in organic traffic all the way up to a peak of 130. So more like 150, 200, given that Ahrefs tends to underestimate. And this was an extremely high value insurance-based keyword. So each sale to them was worth easily $500 to $1,000. Plus a recurring lifetime value. So nothing really new here. Of course, those people still debate how important are backlinks in SEO, but every time I go back, we just see consistently, you build links, your traffic improves. It's really quite simple. I myself was completely kicking myself at this point because I'd gone for the content-based crowd, where I was basically believing that you don't need links, you just need great quality content. And I held back on building links through a fear, paranoia. It's difficult to build links. Then when you do build links, you might build the wrong ones and that can damage you. Well, eventually I took the step. I started building links using a sort of managed, careful approach, and the results just exploded across the board. And I thought, why didn't anyone tell me this? That yes, there's risk. Yes, it's difficult, but your results will be so much better. So that's exactly why I doubled down on building a link building agency, because I basically wanted to scale my process, make sure I could build the best quality links quickly and efficiently, and continually refine that data to keep finding the links that really move the needle, both for my own sites and my clients. Now, of course, there's loads of data I therefore receive from that, not just in terms of what links are working really well, but also just how the link building agency world operates as an industry. And recently, that's given me an insight on a recent link building scam you need to be aware of. As soon as you start link building, it's a fascinating world where you're conducting this outreach to webmasters, working out who is and who isn't going to link to you and what their requirements are. It's a very long, arduous process requiring lots of communication, lots of negotiation, and it all starts with reaching out en masse to thousands of good quality websites. So we'll typically start by scraping a client's competitors, because if someone else is linked to them, then they might well be willing to link to you. And we have an extensive quality screening process to check for all kinds of different metrics to make sure, is the DR and traffic genuine or has it been inflated? What kind of sites are the sites linking out to? How many websites are they linking out to? It's just a really long 20+ step screening process that's all done with a human touch for every single link. Yes, you can use tools like SEMrush with their toxicity scores, or link research tools, LRT, very expensive, but claims to be very big on link toxicity. But personally, you can't beat just going through with a fine-tooth comb, basically deconstructing the website. My team are highly trained on this. Is this a real website? What are they up to? And when they are giving away links like this, what kind of nuances are there? Are they going to link out to anyone and everyone? Or is this an undiscovered gem where not many people have actually got links from this site? Now, I've spoken before about how complex and multi-layered the link building industry can be, because although I don't want to out anyone publicly, there have been plenty of shady actors in the past, and a lot of time these link building agencies, they're basically layers upon layers of resellers. So we go direct to the source, we do the direct outreach ourselves to the individual webmasters, but loads of agencies out there will simply white label other agencies. And in the past, there have been problems there in terms of how these links are actually being placed. And quite often, this genuine good London city agency can be outsourcing to third-party link building agency, who themselves are actually outsourcing to basically a provider of hacked links. So there have been widely reported examples in the past where certain WordPress plugins have been hacked, and then certain operators have been able to insert whatever links they like for just a matter of dollars, and then that then gets sold to the link building agency for $50, who then resells to the agency for a couple of $100, who's then charging their corporate clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars per link. So that's just one example where I like to tell people that you really need to be careful when selecting your backlink provider, because it's widely reported there have been times in the past where mum bloggers have suddenly been finding their posts about going to a local cafe is now full of gambling and adult links, all because of these hackers using backdoor access to WordPress plugins, and those links have then been resold upon resold. So wherever possible, stay as direct to the source as you can. But last week I started getting emails from certain clients with a new link building scam I wasn't even aware of yet. And this is one of the joys of running a link building agency. I can see exactly what's going on in the industry very quickly, and that includes the latest scams. So I've collated some of these responses here. I had multiple clients within 1 week reaching out with very similar experiences, where basically, supposedly the webmaster has reached out to the actual client, so not the link building team, us, but gone direct to the client and said, "We are removing your guest post. I have noticed that we did not receive your payment. If you paid, please send me a payment screenshot so your link will remain. I can only wait 24 more hours. If you will not send us the payment screenshot ASAP, then links will be removed." So already very aggressive, very pushy. And you read that and the gut feeling is shock and shame. You think, so sorry, made a mistake. We need to sort this out. Then a separate email down here. In this case, someone actually went to the contact form on one of my clients' websites. Again, completely cutting out my team who are actually performing the outreach and negotiation. And they've got an email address that calls themselves a paid post provider, so it looks fairly legitimate. And they've said, "I am removing your post link. I still have not received payment to this article. Kindly contact me ASAP. Otherwise, I will remove all links to my websites." Now, initially, this was a source of panic. The client sent this over to me. I went directly to my team and said, "Guys, what is going on? Why has this webmaster not been paid?" But the team very quickly gets back to me, screenshots, proof of payment, all done in PayPal. And we make a point of paying those webmasters as soon as possible because we want to maintain a really good relationship with those webmasters. We want to keep coming back, placing links all the time. We want to get really good rates and we want to get access. We want to be able to place our really tough clients like CBD and adult. And we can only do that if we've got good relationships with those webmasters. So therefore, we aim to pay them as soon as possible. But it didn't take long to investigate further. And I went to one of these webmasters we were dealing with, and one of the webmasters who was allegedly reaching out to us saying, "We're going to take your link away." And they said, "There's currently a surge in BEI, business email imposter scams, so be vigilant. We no longer send out 'we have not received your payment' emails, accept automated PayPal reminders directly from PayPal. If payment has not been received within 48 hours of a completed order, we will only notify you of the takedown of the order and ask you to let us know once payment has been made. Also, we only send these takedown emails from this email address. Any other claim that you've not made a payment is an attempt to scam you." Now, before I go on, plenty of people will be watching this video and already getting angry. People get very emotional about the concept of paid backlinks. Now, we don't rely on paid all the time. One of my favorite methods is actually what's called an ABC, or a three-way link swap, where we will buy a link in order to link to someone else who's then going to swap that link for a link to our client. But this person was not willing to accept payment for a link. They will only accept a link for a link. Therefore, we've bought a link from someone else, given it to that website, and they now provide a link to the client site that is completely unpaid. It's still technically transactional, still technically against Google's webmaster guidelines, but as far as link building is concerned, it's a very clean link, and it's a link that not many people can get because they will only negotiate with a link swap. We don't do that all the time. Loads of our links are just straight paid, and that's because we put loads of effort into making sure we're building high quality backlinks from high quality websites. And often the most efficient way of actually securing that is simple payment. But this is only after we've done loads of checking. And then even when we place that link in terms of the contextual relevance of the link, so the actual article and how that's optimized, the anchor text of the link, there's all these details which go on to make this a really good link, which are not the same as simply paying a webmaster $100, $200 to just insert a link on a random article. So generally I find the people who get most upset about paid backlinks tend to be those who have held back, they've drunk the Kool-Aid from a lot of big agencies who say we don't pay for links, etc. In reality, the vast majority of people do pay for links, and it is the quickest, most efficient means to achieve your end of a profitable website. So I'm not against any strategy that works. As long as you're smart about it, this definitely works. And we've repeated that time and again across hundreds of clients. Where paid backlinks goes wrong is when you're not doing the quality screening, you're buying links from anyone who's willing to sell them to you, which is a lot of websites, whereas we actually reject the vast majority of websites who are willing to link to us on the grounds of quality. A lot of these websites will even have pages where they tell you how much a link costs, which is an absolute red flag for us. That's part of our screening process. because if they're telling you how much a link is worth, then Google can see that. Google can see all their links are paid, therefore devalue them, maybe even penalize them. Here's just one example of that. We have a long list. Obviously, we're exposed to all these schemes and strategies all the time, so we do tend to keep documentation of sites we've rejected and why. And this is an example of what looked like a really good quality news website. It was certainly very convincing, but as soon as we find that collaborative post page, we suddenly find this whole list of prices. So, sponsored post, £50. Premium sponsored post for gambling, Bitcoin, vaping, CBD, $90. Permanent post, $130. And the crazy thing about this is I've seen other big international agencies building links from sites like this. And the crazy thing is, not only does it not take much for us to identify how much they paid for it, but there's no stipulation as to how long they're guaranteeing that link for. So these big international agencies, they're providing these links, not doing the quality screening, but also relying on the fact that the client is not going to know that this link has a deadline and that in a year's time it's going to disappear and the client's not going to be any wiser. But to get back to the case in hand, what is actually going on here? So basically, there's all this chaos going on with different people buying and selling links, and it looks like some scammers are basically trying to fit in the middle and basically identify when there's some link building going on. Maybe it's a website that has been linking out a lot lately, or have they identified one or two campaigns that have been very aggressively building links, and therefore from that they're able to make an assumption as to which links are potentially as part of a campaign, and then reaching out to those clients and saying, this link has been placed for you, we've not received payment. And they're basically relying on either client panicking and paying up, or the agency that built that link panicking, circumventing the team who have already paid that invoice, and then basically double dipping and getting a second payment. Don't forget, even at my level, we've got quite a small boutique agency, therefore communication is still quite good, but we still had to do a full process there of me reaching out to the team, saying, what's going on here? They check the invoices, they come back to me, and they say, this is wrong, we've paid that invoice. But if you scale it up to a much bigger corporate entity, then you get into the realms of corporate inefficiency, where finding out if one invoice has been paid or not can be really time-consuming, really difficult. So I would not be surprised if this scam is actually quite successful, and loads of corporates are simply having that middle management level, simply getting out their card, pay, whether it's $50, $100, $200. If you're part of this large machine, then if you get an angry email like this, you just want to go away as fast as possible. You've probably got your budget, in which case you just think it's a mistake and you just want to make that mistake go away as soon as possible. So what steps can you take to protect yourself here? Just as with any other email scam, check the sending address. So you can do that within your mail provider, because in this case we had this name paidpost@gmail.com. So this one is a bit more plausible, but you can always look at the email exchanges you've already had with that provider and work out, is this an email address you recognize and have contact with before, or is it just a scammer? When you look at it, it becomes quite easy. When you've got an editor at website domain name email address, and suddenly you're getting this random Gmail reaching out to you, then you know you've got a red flag there. And of course, although it's a pain, you can just go into your invoices, your PayPal, etc., and find, double check, confirm that that particular webmaster has been paid.